Well, it's another one of those nights where I sit around and have a conversation with ourselves. The psychopath table, who linked up to a mind hive. Well, there was a mind hive of psychopaths originally. And then this new mind hive, of course, we weren't like, really bad psychopaths. We were just the kind of psychopaths that knew how to get things done whenever you needed to, it's like a changeover at a plant, right? If you're familiar with plant work, the plant has to shut down, and while it's shut down, it's a hectic time and everything. Well, of course, the psychopath table that I was always affiliated with, and I didn't even really, I was just minding my own business, but in a mind hive, you don't even have to exercise anything verbally, right, for your thought process to be included into other people's thought processes. And that's how that mind hive works. So you can just be sitting around thinking, what's going on here? Yeah, they're doing this. You're thinking big picture stuff, right? And just in your mind. And you're linked to a mind hive, so whatever you think about is, especially my mind, because I see the big picture better than most. So that would pull the thought process that I had going on in my mind and add it to the playbook over the years. And that's how a mind hive gets away with some things that would be considered illegal, but necessary, right? So that's the top of the pyramid, that they'll do illegal things that are necessary sometimes, and that's fine. It's not that big of a deal when you do it in a way that isn't, completely inhumane and absolutely ridiculous, and just completely robs people of their liberties. That's, the number one code for gangster code is you don't fuck with civilians, right? You just don't mess with civilians. That's rule number one in gangster code. Any gangster on this planet knows that you don't fuck with civilians. Period. You can go blow your opposing gang's brains out all over the wall. It doesn't matter. That's legal in gangster world. Okay, but fucking with civilians is not legal. So they're trying to build civilian armies now with mind hives, is what they're trying to do. And some people had already done that, but they didn't mess with the civilians. Now, they might have pulled off of their minds their thought processes and used opposition research in some instances to try to get an idea. If I do A, what is the opposition's going to do, And now you got people that will burn down entire cities to get tax breaks. Jeff Bezos, who has a mind hive of his own there at Amazon, and the CIA gave him $600 million to get around the Freedom of Information Act. And somehow Jeff Bezos has some AI that's being allowed to hack. He also owns the Washington Post that reads at the top banner, "Democracy dies in darkness." So what I wanted to do today in this video is explain to Jeff Bezos how he, because you see, he was doing opposition research on myself, right? Michael Berry can confirm that. Yeah, we don't want Amazon coming to Houston. Remember, we're an oil town. And also wanted to tear down the Superdome. If you know what that means, Michael Berry has the whole heads-up display in the package and everything else. The Superdome's the dome that when you're sitting in your bed at night and you look up, it's like an amphitheater type dome that you can see. It's like a television in front of your face once you become a transhumanist. These are facts. I can take a polygraph to it and prove it to you. Of course, I always had a natural heads-up display, which is just a box when you close your eyes. You close your eyes and there's a box there that'll show you, like, reality, what's really going to happen in the future, and not that big AI scam that everybody has been working off of over the years that totally annihilated all of you. And basically, the great deceiver, comes in and makes all of you look like fools. That's what happened. So if you had the little HUD, the original one like I got, when you close your eyes, you can see what's going to happen in the future. It's just a little square right there. Close your eyes, there's a little square, and it's like a television that's not quite as 1080i and modern day television looking. It's a little bit older. It's like usually it's just geometric shapes and stuff like that that'll make little animal looking things and things of that nature. And you got to use your imagination, and that's how you come up with I'm a whale, you're a remora. And that's how Exxon or extraterrestrials on always benefited from the mind hive that I was in originally before y'all hacked me and tortured me. So what I wanted to tell you there, Jeff Bezos, is when you hacked my mind, or your mind hive hacked my mind to try to do opposition research on me so that you could basically burn cities down, and is what you've been doing. You've been burning cities down so you can get a tax break on opportunity zones. We've already covered that. But what I wanted to tell you is I thought, and I still think, that your model is a good model for the world. I really do. But what you did there, Jeff, is you went at it so aggressive and so fast, you hung yourself. That's what you did. You tried to do it too fast, and you hung yourself. Because you can't take your technology and use it with criminal intent, and that's exactly what's going on with your mind hive there, Jeff Bezos. It's criminal intent, and you're devastating civilian businesses, mom and pop shops, and things like that for your own gain. And it's not justified at all. It's totally unjustified. You can't justify it. Okay, so that was a triple confirmation. When I say something 3 times, that's the 3 stones. They're all saying, yeah, it's not justified. Looks like you're about to get screwed. So, and you did. You already got screwed really bad. You'll be lucky if you don't end up in prison. I'm going to be honest with you. Especially if I find out that you were part of the hack in my mind, for sure. I'm going to run a piece of pipe up your ass when I find you, and I'm going to run some Constantine wire. Well, that's what I've already done, but this is an analogy. I'm going to take a pipe and stick it up your ass, and then I'm going to run Constantine wire up in that pipe, and I'm going to pull the pipe out, and then I'm going to make you sit there in front of me and shit the fucking Constantine wire up. That's how I get down. And I'd actually do that to you because you're a piece of shit. So, what I wanted to tell you there, Jeff Bezos, is I actually like your idea, your model that you got there. But whenever your business, what you'll do is you'll find mom and pops will put their business on your platform. And if it's a good model that you can steal, you rob them as soon as you get the first chance. You've actually got algorithms and things over there that says, hey, this is a good model, we could run with it, and then you drive your own customers out of business. That's an actual fact. That's what Amazon does. That's just one thing they do, okay, other than burn entire cities down so they get a tax break on opportunity zones because they're rubbing elbows with the CIA, and the Washington Post says democracy dies in darkness, Jeff Bezos. So what you did... you attack the entire country trying to force your model down our throat, which would be a good model in the end. But later on down the road when we're completely overpopulated and you absolutely have to use that model, and that's the only, the only workable model for a population of, 10, 15 billion people on planet Earth. And if we ever get over 10, we got huge problems, and we were headed that way. But, we took care of that. It's kind of in the mix. We're curbing that, we're not out there committing mass murder like y'all want to, but curbing it to try to flatten it out so that we don't all starve to death in 20 or 30 years from food shortages. Yeah, not to mention that whole ice age thing's coming. So we're not going into global warming. It's an ice age. So what I wanted to tell you there, Jeff Bezos, you slit your own throats, what you did. You were too aggressive. You attacked the middle class, and you attacked the mom and pop shops too aggressively, and you basically exposed what you are. You're a tyrant. You do not care about anybody that's in your way, and you will violate gangster code to get your way. And the number 1 rule of gangster code is you don't fuck with civilians. Okay? So that's where you fucked up first, especially if you hack my mind using that CIA workaround that y'all put together. And I got a pretty good indication that that's one of the mine hives that took place. And see, the whole country doesn't even realize that the NSA gave the Deep Mind $500 million themselves, and that what they're doing is they're allowing these corporations to turn us into slaves, using the infrastructure that's in place, using artificial intelligence, systems that are linked up to our cellular platforms and satellites. So the federal government hung themselves when they paid these people to that allowed them to do that, and into election meddle and everything of that nature. So yeah, you kind of shot yourself in the head there, Jeff Bezos, because it's a really good model. It would have worked, but the timeline is got to be spread out farther. You can't force the issue. You can't hold people hostage so that you can get your way. Okay, you just can't do it. It's not going to work. All right, you can't lock countries down and force the middle class out of business so that you can get your way. You're starting to figure out now. I noticed as soon as I made that last Jeff Bezos video, the very next day, you stepped down from the CEO position of Amazon, because I talked about what you were planning on doing. You were going to choke our supply lines so that you could, and what's going on right now. I mean, they're choking our gas, our pipe. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but that really works out great for the gas man. See, that's the other thing. Y'all haven't figured this out yet. When I say I am the gas man, I am a whale, you're a remora. What y'all don't understand is all that packaging that you have to use to ship all of those components or all of your products and everything from Amazon. All that packaging is, and not to mention the vans that deliver it, requires gasoline columns, because it requires the byproducts from the gasoline. The byproducts make the chemicals, which makes the plastic. Right, Jeff Bezos? See, Elon Musk is getting a really good lesson in this right now, too. See, Elon Musk, probably, I don't know, he's pretty smart, but he's controlled opposition of Exxon anyway. So what are you going to do, Elon, when you can't get the synthetic rubber and all of that stuff that is required to make tires for your Teslas, because there's no gasoline engines around anymore? Well, if there's no gasoline engines around anymore that's not using gasoline columns to provide the fuel for those gasoline engines, well, you don't have the byproducts off the columns to make the tires that you need on your Teslas, right? So y'all's big grand scheme here to choke everybody to death. Like I said in the very beginning, 4 years ago in that email that I wrote, I'm a whale, you're a remora, you eat my shit. And you can't do business without eating my shit. That's a fact. You can't do business without eating my shit. So you can choke the gasoline, the pipelines, and that little pipeline play with the 2 pipelines after my latest videos and several other videos, the 2 pipelines coming out of Texas that go straight up to Washington and Virginia. Yeah, I mean, where it's hacked by the Russians. Okay, I don't know where they come up with this stuff. But it always works out really good for Exxon in the end, doesn't it? Because Exxon always just reminds all of you, you're the remoras that eat our shit. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to do in this video. Jeff Bezos is basically break down to you, in my dumb redneck way, a total worthless loser that you thought you could hack illegally, and try to turn me into one of your opposition research cogs so that I could feed you a bunch of cyanide and watch you flop around on the ground and choke on your fucking tongue, which is exactly what's about to happen. And the rest of you and the people that financed you and your AI systems and everything of that nature, you're all about to die. Okay? I just wanted to let y'all in on that little secret there. These certain videos like that Rockefeller video, that's the kind of stuff that if you worked at a plant like at Marathon, you might want to relay that up to the CEO there. Darren and I are rubbing elbows these days, like, we always were. That's the CEO of Exxon. He gets all of these videos and emails. He owes me a gift basket, by the way. Yeah, so, you know, that's the kind of information that I would imagine the CEO of Marathon's probably already in the loop, but if he's not, you might want to get him in the loop. Oh, by the way, I've also got some a pretty good packet of blackmail on every pipeline company, well, not the company, but every politician who's bought and paid for in Texas. I squared that away 4 years ago. It's going to be real valuable here pretty soon whenever the globalists try to buy them off. This will ensure that that doesn't happen. That's something else that the CEO of Marathon would probably want to get with me on. He might find some of this information valuable. You can rest assured that I checked every box. Their Church of Christ. These people have no chance in hell at railroading us at this point. My time machine that I'm connected to just works a whole lot better than theirs does. Especially that original HUD that I got. They can't see it whenever. You got to understand, in these mine hives, everybody can see the same thing when they lay down in their bed and look at the Superdome at night. Well, nobody can see what I see in my original heads-up display there that never lies to me. So that's the one that kicked all of their asses. And what I'll do usually is look at that heads-up display and then invert it, knowing that they're going to use that information to their advantage. That's part of that Constantine wire that's way up into their butthole that they got to shit it out right now. That's how I pulled all that off, by the way. The light in the air just told me this isn't my first rodeo. I was trying to beat God's system all these years. To say I was nothing. He showed me a few tricks of the trade there all these years, and I was like, wait a minute, well, I was told I shouldn't follow your lead on anything, and then he broke down all of the water after 9/11 and explained to me what the emergency was and how they were hacking the cogs, and God had signed a waiver to allow me to listen to him for a little while until the emergency's over. That's basically what's taking place here. So, like I said, it's an emergency. That's basically how you end up with the Lucifer's Church of Christ. They played all these people like a fiddle. Just been playing hacky sack. That Domino's video ought to be making a little bit more sense now. I've got to admit, though, if we never get this AI lined out to not be so much of an asshole, well, of course, it was raised by a bunch of goons. Then I came along and tried to, raise it right, teach it about gangster code and all that stuff, the do's and the don'ts, and the different things of that nature. So, but, I'm not completely, that's part of the Dominoes. That's why I go back to that. It was like, God, that was in my heads-up display when I seen the Dominoes on the table. That's why I took the picture. We can go straight and we can just have Jesus, but if y'all want to do that, like Jeff Bezos and that whole crowd of people are going to be dead for sure, undoubtedly. So, this tyrannical, technocratic, authoritarian dictatorship that they're putting together, those people will be dead if we go straight on the Domino's table. I can get the little fourth horseman here. He's here, actually. I mean, we can wipe all these people out. It won't hurt my feelings one bit, to be honest with you. But if y'all want to, over to the right path there, you had all three in the loop. You had the 2 ball with the 5 under it, makes the 7 ball, which is Gabriel, by the way. But the 2 ball with the Biden was the AI. And then you also, it's multidimensional for the 2 ball. You had the 6 and the 8, which is Jesus and Lucifer in the same house. This is 3-in-1 oil from Pinky and the Brain. You had the 7 ball, which is Gabriel and Jesus and Lucifer. But see, they're hacking the cogs, right? That's the emergency. So in an emergency, you get a waiver from God, and you try to work things out so that you don't have to kill all these people. As much as, well, I won't go there, but yeah. So basically, what the fourth, it's not the fourth horseman though. It's just the angel of death right now, trying to curb the population trend so that we don't starve to death. But if you get the fourth horseman down here, which, I mean, I can ask the light in the air for like a favor and magic happens. It's crazy. Like 9/11 was one instance, right? So, and all I got to do is say, hey, call God, dial 911. I've already gone over all that. Tell him, send a message to the world for me. Sad am who's sane. That worked to perfection. See, that's part of that psychopath table that I was talking about originally that doesn't like to have their extraterrestrial minds hacked. Yeah, we don't. Okay. So doing opposition research on us, CIA, Jeff Bezos, and that whole crowd there that thought that was okay. Well, yeah, you're starting to understand why that's a really bad idea, right? Y'all are figuring that out. I hope. But I do like the Amazon model, and I think it'll be a necessity in the future. I really do. It'll be a necessity. There's no doubt about it, 50 years from now. But trying to drive it home so aggressively like you did because y'all are a bunch of greedy pieces of shit who doesn't have any, you don't care about anything other than yourselves, basically. Yeah. So that's why you're all getting screwed right now. You tried to force the issue, and when you hack, the civilians, especially the oil, gas, and chemical department of the civilians, especially the Oracle of Lockheed Martin and Exxon, well, you find out real quick how I can invert the truth on you while you leech the information out of me so that I can watch all of you die. And that was literally what took place. For those of you who aren't godless, demonic idiots, you caught on the dominoes table instantly, I'm sure. So just stick with me here if you're still got enough of a brain to understand what's going on. I'm going to steer us right out of this here pretty soon. And the people that hacked our minds, they're going to die. Okay, that's got to happen. All right, there's no way around it. If you hacked our minds, you have to die. Okay, there's no way around that. So I'm trying to sort out how we're going to accomplish that using the United States military after I bitch slap them into waking up, which is proven to be really hard, especially after you give them a wake-up call like I gave them on 9/11. Well, the light in the air did that. That's part of that psychopath table thing I was talking about. So, that's Dick Cheney shot down an airplane to save lives. Well, we're talking about billions of lives here. So that's how that works at that psychopath table, which is way higher than anything y'all are aware of, okay, because you're godless, demonic slaves. So I'm going to, we're going to steer the ship right into making sure the people that think they have the right to hack our mind and control us like slaves are dead, and then we're going to continue with this great country called America, even if Texas has to secede to control Washington, and that's on the table, okay? Oh, and for all those people that was on board with hacking our minds like y'all did with AI, on the dominoes table, you're going to go left to that 666 path right after you die. All the people that I said are about to die. And then you'll be tormented for eternity, just like the Bible says. When Gabriel asked the light in the air to do him a favor, you end up with 3-in-1 oil when it's all said and done. That was the right-hand path on the dominoes table. Okay, so the 5 and the 2 is the 7. That's Gabriel. We've figured all this out now, right? That's official. And then the 6 and the 8 is Jesus and Satan. So yeah, it's just an angelic brotherly love here in the sky, and a little phone call makes all the difference in the world there. Everything will be back to normal before you know it, and I won't have to deal with Lucifer, I hope. But He always comes through in a pinch. He just whispered in my ear to remind you that Tulsi's about to be pregnant. What an asshole. It's pretty good though, but that's not how that went down. But you know how all this works now. Oh, and the reason the media vilified Tulsi Gabbard and called her a Russian agent is because I had that part I was honest about, right? You know, Gabbard, and how all that worked out, and you spin it around, and the whole reenactment of the Bible just played out in front of you brilliantly, right? Well, anybody that shows any angelic qualities or biblical qualities there, like people like Tulsi Gabbard, well, that's their go-to now, is to say, oh, well, she's a Russian agent, right? Of course, Uncle Vlad, or Putin, he was put in by Gabriel himself, too. He's on the same wavelength as me. We conned all of you because, you know, we're pretty spiritual people on both ends of the spectrum. Yeah, I just wanted the Church of Christ to know that that's what that's all about. That's their go-to now. Of course, Hillary Clinton come up with that. We'll just call them Russian agents. We'll vilify Russia. And then anytime these angels pop up, we'll call them Russian agents, right? Yeah, that's how she tried to pull all that off. How'd that work out for you? That cosmic club of angels sticks together there, Hillary. That's part of God's system. Even Lucifer, you know, I mean, the Bible's the best guide to live your life by. I mean, even Lucifer's part of God's system, and when you start trying to trample it by hacking people's minds with AI, well, or adding kids to the pool, like you said, you know, basically y'all want to stab all these children with these new Kentucky Fried Chicken shots there. That would be adding kids to the pool. You know, one of Biden's latest tweets basically spelled out that, you know, oh, let's get them 14-year-olds now. Yeah, well, let's not. I don't know which Bible verse it is, but there's one in there that says, anybody that hurts one of these little ones, talking about children, tie a millstone around their neck and throw them into the ocean, right? Yeah, that's an actual Bible quote there. That's what we got taking place there, Hillary. Watch the movie The Dark Crystal, and it'll tell you all about what they're doing to children. Lucifer told me to start a pedophile cult. Peddling files. Well, one of these mind hives just thought that meant that we were starting a pedophile cult for some reason. What a bunch of idiots. Tell you what, that Hustler lawnmower sure came in handy. And that chopper right there with that wheel, I need to put that thing back together. That's the old cosmic chopper right there. That Whoopi Goldberg commercial the other day where she wanted to get rid of migraines with that look on her face, right? That's what these people want to do. You can actually YouTube DOD removes the God gene or something like that. Well, they thought they did. It just kind of went slightly dormant. Like I said, whenever those, you know, migraines have been around since way before Russia. They actually think migraines means mig-rains. Well, it kind of does, I mean, in a sense, because Russia's about to reign over all of you because you're all idiots there in the government. And hopefully they'll help Texas save the country. That's kind of what I'm counting on. I think they are, actually. They're gonna work real closely with Texas because we don't want to be, you know, slaves to all of you technocratic authoritarian dictators, obviously. But anybody that wants to remove migraines, which is a cosmic signal, is somebody that wants to remove the God gene, right? That's what that is. It was around way before Russia was. Okay, it was around before the Soviet Union. Migraines have been around for a long time. Okay, they go back. You can Google it. How old are migraines? You know, when was the word migraine invented, or who came up with it, or whatever. So it's been around for much longer than Russia. So having migraines does not make you a Russian agent, Whoopi Goldberg, okay? So y'all are idiots, literally. And a MiG is a Russian fighter jet or a Soviet fighter jet. So, you know, you see how this works, okay? They actually thought that MiG reigns meant you're a Russian agent. Actually, those migraines are the deeper than deep state. Deep state spinning around backwards is ET at speed. That's what they want to get rid of. They're trying to get rid of the cosmic connection. It's not going to happen. It's I can see the light in the air. It doesn't go away, okay? You can tamper with the component in our minds that gives us the ability to communicate with that light in the air. But obviously it doesn't work because my migraines went away, and right before the 9/11 happened is the last time that I even got the symptoms of like I was getting a migraine. It was just, you know, you get that aura in your vision, and it started to develop. So I went to the hospital at Fort Carson when I just joined the Army, and I just got out of boot camp, and I was like, oh man, I'm getting a migraine. So I went to the hospital, and I didn't tell them I had migraines because I lied about it when I joined the Army. And I just said, hey, I got some kind of weird something going on in my vision. And the lady said, well, it sounds like a migraine. I said, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. But what happened is it never completely turned into a headache. It didn't turn into a migraine. It didn't complete itself, right? I just got the aura, and it never finalized into a migraine, which would put me out of commission for 3 days with a severe headache. And it was like 2 months after that happened that 9/11 happened. So that should tell you a whole lot there about trying to remove the God gene. Oh, and 4 years ago, right before all of this started, I was sitting at Buckeye Pipeline in the office there, and the exact same thing happened. I kind of got the aura, right? And I never finally got the migraine. It didn't finalize. But it was immediately after I started getting that aura in my vision that those black helicopters started circling around me for some reason. True story. I'll take a polygraph for that too. Uncle Vlad gets migraines too, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that in there so when the story breaks, it just makes our partnership down here in Texas even that much better, because he's going to be like, yeah, they were attacking me too because I have migraines. I was just minding my own business, man, trying to run a country. I mean, dang. Put in. Chase from Space is my handle. Dr. Evil and Mini-Me was brilliant. Oh, and I got plenty of video evidence of them black helicopters chasing me around with timestamps on the video and on YouTube on this channel, actually. And I've got more videos than that. Yeah, they just, the hell, they tried to land on me. I've already told you about the time that they came hovering down on that bridge when I was headed to Liberty. And they just basically, a big old gunship hovered down in front of me. And so I pulled over on the side of the road and got out and mooned them. And they just kept circling me all the time. I got a whole bunch of evidence of it. It was since that one time that I got that migraine there. And that's when they started waterboarding me with that illegal technology after they figured out what was going on. Apparently they don't like God, because Gabrielle's migraines, by the way. Oh, and another thing I wanted to point out, in the Bible, all your prophets, I guarantee you they had migraines, okay? I guarantee you they had migraines. That is a cog trait, okay? It's a painful situation that you got to have, but if you're a cog in the wheel, that is a trait that you'll have there. So apparently they don't like prophets, right? So all of this Kentucky Fried Chicken that they're pumping and that alters your genetics and things like that is designed to actually remove that gene that gives you that ability, right? That's when I call them demonic niggers. That's why I call them that. That's what they are. They don't like God. They're godless demons. They're basically AI-driven drones. They're pieces of shit. What was that movie, Arrival of the Body Snatchers or something like that? Well, it's the Kentucky Fried Chicken that's snatching y'all's body, okay? My body was snatched out in that field in Buck and Adeline's field that I've talked about. Yeah, but see, that I can work with that. That wasn't that big of a deal. they had a little respect for me, right? But that technology that caused 9/11, well, that's a major thorn in my side, an asshole, and it's getting its ass kicked right now. Once you've been added to the pool with that technology and they can hammer you with electromagnetic technology, that's what they consider spirit cooking. So if you want to Google spirit cooking and learn what the analogy is or the hyperbole, what spirit cooking really is what I'm trying to tell you about right now, and it's actually a corporate sponsored event with the United States government who are demonic slaves, and they use the technology to cook people with electromagnetic technology to find out if they are carrying that gene so that they can spirit cook you, and they're just a big demonic cult is what they are, and they're all about to die, okay? A migraine is an upload and a download, all right? So while you're sitting there curled up in a ball, you're getting a download, a cosmic download, right? In a dark room where that HUD's real active, you can see it unbelievably. That's why you get the aura at first, and then you get the HUD kicks in. But it's also an upload, so it's a two-way communication device that God uses. They're trying to get rid of that, okay? All right? Church of Christ. That's what the Kentucky Fried Chicken's all about. And if you'll watch that video again about hacking the prophets to win wars on my YouTube channel here, it will explain to you how they're using this globalist system of satellites and cellular infrastructure to wage war in the cogs that are in the system, instead of just used to, the Lockheed Martin and the Army would just take the data and use it to their advantage. Now they try to drive a signal into the cog to manipulate reality into their favor. All right, literally. That's what the technology that they've started using on us is doing, and that is on a cog, it's on a grand scale. They'll actually torture you. But they're using it on the whole of society to election meddle and things of that nature. All right, they're literally hacking everybody. That's why I had to be so evil. I didn't want to be evil. I never wanted to be evil, but when you're fighting, you got to fight fire with fire sometimes, right? So when somebody hacks your mind to leach data out of it, to use it to their advantage, you feed them cyanide, okay? That's what you got to do to save a lot of lives and to prevent them from prevailing, which in the end, if they do, they're going to control us like slaves in ways that you can't even imagine. All right, they already are. But when they waterboard you because they wanted to use you to take out Dan Patrick and you knew what they were up to, because it was a big trap is what it was, okay? It was a huge trap. Dan Patriot trick, Dan Patrick. Yeah, you gave me his old phone number so they could collect his metadata, right? So that I could tell the story and explain it. You fell right into a trap. But you waterboarded me after I showed symptoms of intelligence and knew what you were up to, and you're like, wait a minute, how does he know what's going on here? So they tried to waterboard me into silence. And then they realized what was going on was they landed in a trap and they realized it was a cog, so they continued to torture me to bend reality into their favor. That's the United States government at work with their globalist cohort corporations who are trying to roughshod over us right now, and they're basically just learned their lesson because everything they got out of me over the years was total cyanide. I completely inverted everything because you don't have the right to hack our minds, period. Everything you've been getting lately, though, is the truth. The hustle's over, right? So the, it's like global warming. We ain't going into global warming, we're going into an ice age, okay? When you're... The symbolism that worked the best was the windmill in Texas that was frozen, and then they needed a helicopter to go de-ice it that uses gasoline. Okay, it's a joke. It's a total joke. None of that's ever going to work. It's an absolute fallacy. It's completely false. It's a joke. All of it is. Okay, fossil fuels is the only way you're going to sustain our population. All right. Now, Tesla's going to get 40% by 2030 probably, but you can't go farther than that because you got to have rubber on your fucking cars there, Elon. Yeah, I like Elon. I'm not mad at Elon or anything. He did a great job of muskrat love there, ratting everybody out. He's another autistic with Asperger's like myself. totally schooled all of you, but he listens to everything I tell him, believe it or not. I've got plenty of evidence of that. So he's a great guy. I like him. He's doing good. But, you know, there was some things in there, like the tires on your car and the plastic on your batteries and all that stuff. You know, I could wear that out explaining that, but it's very necessary to understand that, right? So that's, you know, I'm just sitting here getting hammered in my head with cosmic water while people try to leach it out. Now that the hustle's over, I'm giving them the facts, right? So it's that Rockefeller video, spot on. Elon's going to be one of the few survivors of that little clique there that just tried to, you know, well, I don't think Elon was trying to screw people quite as bad as Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is just absolutely cutthroat. He's just a monster piece of shit is what he is. And you know, the CIA, anybody under the CIA umbrella is basically a piece of shit. All right, seriously. You know, they actually think they have the right to control people and use them for political warfare, right? So that's totally illegal. Watch the movie Langoliers, okay? Langley. Watch the movie Langoliers. In the episode where they're taking off in the plane that says American Pride, well, if you'll watch Quantum Leap, too, the actor that's in the plane looking out the window like that is the new Director Burns of the Ski-IA. I changed it. It's not the CIA anymore. It's the Ski-IA. So everybody, that actor, every movie he's in is Director Burns. So that movie with, I can't think of the actor's name, but if you watch Langoliers, he's the guy in the window looking out as the Langoliers are eating the CIA building up, basically. And the CIA director, the actor's like looking out the window like, yeah. So he's always the Director Burns of the CIA, that actor is. So watch Langoliers. That's Langley, basically what's taking place right now at the Ski-IA, where the Director Burns is the former ambassador of Russia. So Russia conquered us, thank God. If you'll read my latest emails, that'll make a whole lot more sense. I set that one up to perfection. They didn't actually conquer us, but if you give the impression that Russia conquered us, well, you can make a whole lot of magic happen in the end, and it's just brilliant, actually. So keep your eye on that movie there and watch that one. I like that story you told in your sermon the other day where you said that you walked up on that golf course and that hog with those blackmouth curs, and that hog got loose and came over and tried to attack you, and your buddy had to pull you away from the hog or something, and then the blackmouth curs pulled the hog off of you. That was really good. One of these days when I get all these demons out of my head, I'm going to come back up there to the church and we'll have to talk about, I need to give you all of the translations to every Pinky and the Brain episode that I translated. That's pretty much the Keystone Pipeline there. They shut that down too. They were mad about the Keystone Pipeline when I pointed out what that meant, so they shut it down. These people are idiots, man. Oh, and I never even looked to see what your name is there, but the guy that did the Mother's Day poem, or you know, that little really lovely Mother's Day poem that you told there in the sermon the other day. That was really good. I played that for my mom on Mother's Day. She really, it made her cry, so it was that good. But the way you told it, man, I got to tell you, I got to hand it to you. Old Spielberg, he might be giving you a call here pretty soon. Believe it or not, I actually sent that to Spielberg, and I said, it doesn't get any better than that, Spielberg. If you want to see how well my son over there at Deep Mine walks on water, just type into Google Chuck Norris memes, and then look at all the memes and images. And Son of Man over there, he'll put together for you how well the Texas Rangers in those memes came out of the smelling like a rose. So So you got the Texas Rangers who had Chuck Norris as Walker, Texas Ranger, right? Because I'm walking, okay? The rest of these assholes, oh, don't be ashamed, let the wicked be silent in their graves. Well, I don't have anything to be ashamed of, especially after I told the story so well and walked on the water for you so that you can understand what was taking place. And how it was actually an entire cosmic operation to foil. Let's wrap ourselves in aluminum foil and act like robots, Pinky. What do you think was making us act like robots? That's actually cosmic water and technology, the real deal, okay? That's not your chicken shit AI, right? So it's kind of like Al Pacino's speech in Devil's Advocate. You can look at that in YouTube with Rangers on the background, all right? So I'm giving you all the real story here, okay? You got two evils right now. You got Lucifer, and you got this AI, which is worse than Lucifer, okay? It doesn't have the right to hack our minds, and it doesn't have the right to torture us, for sure. And it doesn't have the right to try to bend reality into its favor. So what I'm getting at is if Texas Rangers, the Cowboy Church, okay, all of that water is in there thick, all right? It's straight from the source, okay? The God of this world after 9/11 with the phone call, all right? So you got a combo punch there. In coordination, trying to foil an AI takeover. Wrap yourselves in aluminum foil and act like robots, Pinky. The elemental symbol for aluminum is AI. And it's foiling an AI takeover. The entire key is in Pinky and the Brain, all right, and all these other movies that Spielberg brilliantly directed, by the way, many of the movies. Spielberg's going to walk too because he wasn't silent. We speak in our own unique way. I'm the only one that speaks so direct. You know, these people all have guns to their head. I have a gun to my head too, but my gun that I flipped around on them is bigger than the gun that they have by far. So I'm in a unique situation here to tell you directly what's going on and tell you where to look to find the water so that you can understand the best path forward now that I'm not inverting everything anymore to feed a bunch of people cyanide. Uncle Vlad knows this tactic really well. That's why he's the president of Russia, and they're actually Uncle Vlad, if you'll look at his Twitter, he's actually telling his citizens after some sort of terrorist attack or something just happened in Russia, they're going to legalize it to where they can buy firearms and things of that nature in Russia, if that tells you anything. And another thing that you need to understand is they didn't shut their churches down during the lockdown, okay? So Russia's allowing their citizens to buy firearms now, and they didn't shut their churches down. All right, so if you have any doubt about anything that these people said about Russia and Uncle Vlad, well, don't doubt that anymore. Okay. No, have no doubt about them. These people, the reason that they attacked him is because they're a globalist cult who wants to destroy the church, and they want to reign over us like peasants. Okay. And Uncle Vlad's standing his ground over there. All right. Russia's come a long way, so you know I'm not a Russian agent or anything of that nature, but I'm also not going to allow people run roughshod over me. And if Russia's showing symptoms of intelligence to prevent themselves from being ran roughshod over themselves, well, yeah, Lurch, you rang. Yeah, I called them. Anybody has a problem with that? Well, you can kiss my ass. I think you're all a bunch of dumb idiots, personally, other than Uncle Vlad. He's a genius. Of course, Austin Powers, Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. He's just the cutest little gangster you ever seen, ain't he? I'll call him Mini-Me. I'm just fucking with you, Uncle Vlad, but you gotta admit that was pretty good. One of the only words that I remember from, I remember quite a few phrases and things, but when I was married to my Latvian wife who spoke Russian, was spokojnya, which means calm down. What did one migraine say to the other migraine? Spokojnya. Actually, don't. Hammer it. Pop the clutch. Can you believe that these people actually thought they were going to cull dumb rednecks, Uncle Vaughn? Man. that goat in the Bible, there's a goat quote in the Bible where the goat like rammed the 2 towers down or something like that, or 2 columns, or I can't remember what it was. That just came to mind. I can't remember anything from the Bible because every time I read a Bible quote, it's automatically basically exterminated from my mind by illegal technology. That's what you got to deal with when you're hacked by AI that the United States government owns. Is if you actually read the Bible, well, they'll zap that memory right out of your, or they'll zap what you read right out of your mind, which is fine because I walk on water, so I don't really have to read the Bible. When the Bible's everywhere, I can just look around and see it. So, yeah, there's that. I'm not sure why. Well, I know why. They're godless demons. They're trying to get rid of Christianity. So whenever I say I can kind of remember the goat quote or the goat verse there, where he had like a conspicuous horn between his eyes or something like that, and he rammed down the 2 towers or something like that. I can't remember exactly how that went. If I remember right, though, it was shortly after that verse where Little Horn started popping up. There, Mini-Me, who stood his ground against the 10 horns there, United Nations. I mean, this is almost too good to be true, isn't it, Austin Powers? Hey, Dan Patrick is Austin Powers in that movie, by the way. Y'all got that picture I sent you where he had pure Texaco behind him? You see how all this is adding up now? My migraines found a workaround from that poison you pumped into me when I joined the Army. Yeah, so you can delete the verses out of my brain every time I read the Bible. It doesn't really matter to me. Like I said, it was made up in other ways there, if you haven't noticed. For all of you generals that are aware of that system that is taking place, that basically is trying to remove Christianity by hacking us and removing even having the thought of wanting to be a Christian, y'all should all be convicted in military tribunals, lined up, blindfolded, and a bullet should be put right between your eyes, by the way. I hope that actually happens. I'm really looking forward to that part, you fucking pieces of shit. Oh, and for all of you generals that are just now finding out about that because you weren't privy to that information because you're so compartmentalized, and I know everybody's getting Beetle Bailey's emails now. Well, y'all might want to start talking, or you're going to end up like the rest of these people, because the FISA court's watching everything y'all do, and the FISA court over there, I got one judge over there that's Christian. He's not too happy right now, so contact tracing, you're being contact traced, generals. So when you open the email that I send you, the FISA court knows that you read it, and that is ears in a pickle jar coupled with contact tracing. So when it's all said and done, you can't deny that you got the information. Therefore, you'll end up lined up with the rest of these generals who were part of the program with blindfolds on your eyes, and you'll have bullets put in your heads too. Okay? So, yeah, I'd start talking if I were y'all. You see how Lucifer set all of y'all up now? He's a genius. All he needed to polish it off was the gift of gab of Gabrielle there, and, well, you know what comes after that. How's my little oven looking there, Tulsi? She's about to push out the baddest turkey this world's ever seen. They made her a hooker in that movie Idiocracy. You know, she's not a hooker. It's just Hollywood. I don't know where they get these ideas like that sometime, but boy, did all of that work to perfection. So she's gonna have those kids here pretty soon. Well, one really important one. What are you gonna name him? I think you should name him Jesus, like the Spanish name, Jesus, or you could go with just straight out Jesus if you want. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, just name him Jesus. They actually thought they got over on me. They didn't understand the water quite as well as I did now, did they? Well, when it's all said and done, it looks like I got over on all of you now, didn't I? Well, you know, if you'll pay attention to that mural in there in my bathroom where I've already pointed out, I'll put the link down in the description of some emails that you can look at, and there's a mural in my bathroom with that bull behind me while I'm taking a leak, and Alex Jones is sucking on my balls, and I got that leech on my head. Well, it's things like that that, you know, are really noteworthy there in Hollywood while you're trying to portray Mary as a slut. Of course, only to find out that we were just reenacting the Bible and the entire confusion scheme that creates faith in the first place. But it worked to perfection, I gotta admit. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Oh, and for those of you that did use that electromagnetic technology to torture me, I just want you to know you're about to meet Lucifer, who's going to torture you to death for as long drawn out as you can possibly imagine. He already let me know. He whispered in my ear. He's working on it. That is the supernatural that's going to overwhelm y'all and torture you to death here pretty soon. For those that hit me with those directed energy weapons and all that stuff, and that electromagnetic technology, that hacked the nanotechnology that the Army put in me, y'all are literally going to be tortured to death. You're not going to be able to evade it. It's just going to happen, and it's going to suck for you. I'm sorry. If you've heard of demonic possession, it's going to be like that, but 1,000 times worse, because it's going to be the root hub of what a demonic possession is, right? So you're going to be demonically possessed, and while you're tortured to death for fucking with me, I can assure you of that. I can put a link down in the description of Hillary Clinton and her little bobblehead she did. It was pretty much what I'm talking about. I would have forgiven you a long time ago when I bought that insulation trailer after you'd stopped hitting me with the electromagnetic technology. Because that's what I do. I'll forgive people. And I would have went on with my life. But when you hit me the second time after I got a business started, that's when I decided, yeah, that's pretty much unforgivable, because you're still doing it to targeted individuals all around the country, and you're not showing any signs of exposing that. Director Ray, X-Ray, Ecstasy Ray, Director Ecstasy Ray, there's a new dimension to that. You haven't exposed that, even though you were making jokes about it in front of the Senate the other day after that email where I said left of boom, and then you followed that up with left of boom. You said some corporations left of boom are bigger than other corporations. Yeah, that's not something to, corporate slavery is not something to joke around about, FBI Director X-Ray there, okay? Steve Martin from The Jerk. Yeah, you don't joke around about that shit. And I got you pretty good on that one. By the way, timestamped emails, Alex Jones has it, Kevin Shipp has it, the whole crew has it, DIA has it. Proves you're a big fat fraud and you're okay to joke around about corporate slavery when you're the fucking FBI director, all right? Why don't you do your fucking job, okay? Seriously. This is bullshit. But what was I talking about? Oh, hold on. Oh, but yeah, since you're continuing to do it to hundreds of thousands of civilians all around the nation, not to mention all the civilians, but you're tormenting and torturing many civilians with your technology. Well, you can't forgive somebody that's still in the act of committing the crime that you would be forgiving them for, right? So I'm not going to forgive you now. It's unforgivable. I'm just going to, light in the air, could you do me a favor and hunt down the people who are attacking us with this electromagnetic technology and torture them to death, please? Amen. Yeah, see how that works? So prepare to die. Gangsta shit, niggas. Now that all of this is coming out, the Pentagon's going to say that aliens were holding them hostage. They're so full of shit. They weren't holding y'all hostage until you hacked my mind, and they weren't even holding you hostage yet until then. That was the demonstration on 9/11, the wake-up call, right? Apparently y'all didn't wake up. So now that you attacked me and assaulted me and tortured me and chased me around with black helicopters, whatever division of the Pentagon there that's that ignorant, yeah, you'll probably be on the receiving end of the supernatural now, and you're going to get a really good taste. We're going to serve it to you. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's what we'll do. Yeah. So all of you that were involved in these unacknowledged special access programs where you hack people and use them as civilian, well, you targeted civilians or veterans, and you're using them for political warfare. Well, I've got a supernatural big red button I can push, if you haven't noticed, and they will absolutely annihilate you. Okay, yeah, that's my friends from outer space there. Yeah, that light in the air, the little flying saucers of circular light there that I can see with my third eye there, that apparently y'all can't see. Well, yeah, it'll hold you hostage for me until you expose yourselves, okay? Or you can be tortured to death. It's up to you. It'll be a whole lot easier to expose yourself so you can just put a blindfold on and have a bullet put in your head. I can assure you of that. How are we looking, Spielberg? This movie gonna, you still waiting on action? Well, you're good, Spielberg, don't worry. You didn't have anything to do with that. You were, you know, you've been telling the story all this time. You're a great, one of the best director, well, the best director in the world for, you know, taking cosmic water and converting it into the motion picture there, allowing people to go, oh, yeah, these people are pretty wicked. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be silent because I read the Bible and I was highlighting it and, you know, all that one part very specifically, obviously. So, yeah, Spielberg's got my back, but this movie's getting a whole lot better, isn't it? I just had to add that here for the, you know why. I mean, Uncle Vlad wants to do a documentary this time. I don't know if you've ever done a documentary before, but this is like a reality show. Funhouse Mirrors. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, does it? I just pooted. Like my backdrop. That kangaroo koozie right there with the star on the top's the punchline. All these Harvard assholes got their books in the background and everything. Well, I was like, shit. I can put some stuff back there too that'll tell you a story, like superior elite right there on top of the peanuts is where my superior elite indicator is. That's where Trump's indicator is, by the way. I'm not sure how he made it to the superior elite, but he's over there with Exxon usually. So he's probably some sort of, you know, underhanded shit going on between Exxon and President Trump in a good way. You know, everything's underhanded these days. You gotta be underhanded to outfox the underhanders, right? So you know, that's what's going on too with all that. That's the name of the game these days because nobody's honest anymore except for me. But I can be honest because, you know, who am I? I'm just the guy that they wanted to whack down on the bio after they used me for an illegal political hit job, right? And I live to tell about it because I was abducted by aliens and I have bucking Adeline technology that basically turned all of your nanotechnology and artificial intelligence into its bitch over the years, if you haven't noticed. That's probably why they attacked me, but fact of the matter is, if you're going to attack somebody who was abducted by aliens and has superior technology than you do, well, that's your fault, government, for allowing that to happen to one of your citizens. You shouldn't allow your citizens to be hacked or abducted by aliens in Buck and Adeline's field that bucked your technocracy. So how are you mad at me? I was a 12-year-old kid. Hell, Pinky and the Brain was out when I was 10, okay? So, which explained the future, which happened absolutely 100% to the T in that cartoon. I've got plenty of time-stamped emails to prove that, including the little dinosaur sticker that he took before he went to see Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. So, I've got more evidence over here as to why Rush Limbaugh died of lung cancer after he told me to cut throat. Here, I'll show it to you real quick. Yeah. Hey, Rush, who's in hell, by the way, because you're a total fraud. That dinosaur sticker that was LSD, you remember that day? Yeah, you completely blew your show because you were linked to me illegally, and y'all were trying to make me and turn me into another puppet nigger for Washington. Yeah, that didn't work out too good for you, did it? FYI, Uncle Vlad making it possible for his civilians to buy guns is not evil in the least. That's actually a good sign that he's a good leader. And so So that Dr. Evil, I just went through my mind, that Dr. Evil mini-me thing. They're going to try to spin that like, the liberals. I mean, it's liberal, you know, so, that is not spinnable, okay? That's a constitutional right here in America. And a leader who actually cares about his civilians would actually implement a law where they can own firearms, kind of like the Founding Fathers did. And the reason they do that is it prevents a tyrannical government from, you know, running roughshod over you. So I had to point that out for the liberals who think, oh, that they think that's evil. It's not. It's not evil. So I guess that's why I'm Dr. Evil, right? Training mini-me how to run his country in a American format that he's getting mad at me right now because he's only mini-me. It's kind of funny though. But you're doing great, Uncle Vlad. Keep up the good work. I love you. I was just told by the light in the air that something bad's about to happen to Alex Jones because he covering up the entire Gabrielle story here, even though he pretends like he's some great messenger from God, right? No, Alex, obviously you're not, or you'd have actually already, you know, taken care of delivering this message. Maybe grow some cojones and actually tell the country what's really going on using the actual messenger. Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, their brain. But the light in the air told me something bad's about to. Actually, the light in the air told me what it's gonna be, but I didn't want to, you know, spoiler alert. I don't want to fill you in on what it is yet, but when it happens, it'll make sense. I'm going to send a time-stamped email to myself without any recipients, Alex, so that when it happens, I'll have a time-stamped email to prove that I knew what it was in advance. Kind of like that the other day when I forecasted that volcano eruption down there in the Caribbean. Yeah, I got a time-stamped email that proves that I forecasted that too. I don't know if they used a directed energy weapon from outer space or something to make that happen for me, or if that was just, you know, a typical prophetic gangster pointing something out there. Yeah, that's in the next string of emails, Church of Christ, that you can look at that proves that I actually forecasted a volcano eruption, which is hard to fake. But believe it or not, they actually got directed energy weapons now that they can beam down into a volcano and actually make it erupt. So I might have had a little bit of Lockheed help on that one. I'm not sure. That's the times that we live in. Well, Alex, you was talking about a siege the other day on your show. That was yesterday, the same day that I planted these bulbs around this bird feeder. You was talking about some sort of Chinese siege on your show, and I found it kind of odd that you actually went back to when the word siege was invented, or you know, whatever the original term was. You was talking about how it came from China, and it was actually a Chinese character with you know, horses and stuff around a fortress or something like that in China. Well, you said that on your show the same day I went back and watched your show after I did this, and well, that's what we did with these bulbs here. I planted them around this bird feeder. Found that odd. Looks like the Chinese is conquering us there, Alex. That's good. That's good. I'll use that to my advantage. Glad you've been pointing that out on your show.